Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Lancescurv. Today we're going to talk about breaking down the facts of Donald Trump's relationship with Black America. The climate surrounding Donald Trump's campaign and presidency was one marked by intense scrutiny, division, and controversy. From the very beginning of his presidential run, Trump faced accusations and criticisms that seemed to outpace those of any other candidate in recent memory. His detractors painted him in stark terms: a man unfit for office, a figure intent on establishing control over the country like a dictator, and someone with views that were labeled as deeply racist. From comments and headlines branding him a racist, to heated accusations that he sought to dismantle democratic norms for his personal gain, the media landscape was saturated with fierce opposition to his leadership. The accusations went beyond concerns about his policies and extended into his character. Trump was frequently labeled a misogynist, with critics pointing to past comments and interactions as evidence of disrespect toward women. Rumors and conspiracy theories even circulated about his alleged ambitions to reshape the American political system into something resembling an autocratic regime. This image, compounded by his direct style and often polarizing public statements, led to deep fears among his opponents. The contentious atmosphere became so extreme that Trump faced not one, but two assassination attempts during his time in the political spotlight, underscoring the level of passion and, for some, animosity his presence evoked. Despite his turbulent backdrop and the many claims about his intentions and beliefs, Trump's presidency brought forward a complex record, particularly in regard to policies affecting the Black community. For those who may have only heard about the criticisms against him, exploring the tangible impacts of his actions sheds a new light on the leader often cast in such severe terms. To fully understand his legacy, it is essential to look at not just the rhetoric, but the actions and their effects, especially communities that were perhaps unexpected beneficiaries of his policies. This contrast between perception and reality forms a crucial aspect of the story of Donald Trump's presidency. In the world of today's politics, it's easy to let media narratives and party affiliations shape our understanding of who's really making a difference. But I, Lancescurv, grew up in New York City, right in the thick of Donald Trump's rise as a public figure, and I had the opportunity to see firsthand how he interacted with and invested in Black communities long before the thought of a presidency crossed his mind. I'm here to set the record straight and lay out the impact Trump has had on Black America, especially through policies and acts that run counter to the media's portrayal of him. President Trump demonstrated an unmatched commitment to historical Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, by increasing federal funding for these institutions by 14%. At a time when HBCUs were struggling to secure stable funding, Trump prioritized these schools, recognizing the unique role they play in empowering Black communities through education. This boost in funding enabled HBCUs to strengthen their programs, expand opportunities for students, and enhance the support systems that contribute to long-term academic and professional success. In doing so, he sent a powerful message about the importance of equal educational opportunity and his belief in HBCU's mission to uplift future generations of black leaders. Beyond increasing federal funding, President Trump provided over $500 million to HBCUs through the Capital Financing Program. This program offers low-cost loans to help HBCUs cover critical infrastructure projects like updating facilities, expanding libraries, and investing in technology. These funds allowed institutions to modernize and remain competitive, fostering an environment where black students can thrive. This significant financial support demonstrates Trump's understanding of the essential role these colleges play in the black community, not only as educational hubs, but as cultural and community pillars. Trump's commitment to HBCUs also included preserving $80 million in Title III carryover funding, essential for covering a range of academic programs, scholarships, and research projects. By safeguarding these funds, Trump ensured that HBCUs could continue offering high-quality education without the looming threat of budget cuts. For black students relying on these resources to pursue higher education, this protection meant stability and security in their academic journeys. With the Future Act, President Trump didn't just extend funding for HBCUs, he made it permanent. This landmark legislation not only provides reliable financial support for HBCUs, but also simplifies the FAFSA application process, making it easy for students to access financial aid. By signing the Future Act into law, Trump underscored his commitment to securing a lasting legacy for HBCUs, helping them to focus on what they do best, educating and empowering the next generation. In a significant move of financial relief, President Trump signed a budget deal that forgave more than $300 million in debt for 4 HBCUs impacted by natural disasters. This was more than a financial gesture. It was a recognition of the economic realities these institutions face, especially in times of crisis. Additionally, the budget deal included $10 million in loan repayment deferments for schools experiencing financial strain, including HBCUs. This measure allowed institutions to recover without the added burden of debt, giving them room to focus on rebuilding and supporting their students and communities. President Trump's signing of the First Step Act was a pivotal moment in criminal justice reform, particularly for Black Americans who have been disproportionately affected by the criminal justice system. This legislation, which aimed to reduce recidivism and offer fair sentencing, has already shortened sentences for thousands of individuals, with 90% of those benefiting from these reforms being Black. By addressing racially motivated mandatory minimums and granting offenders the right to petition for sentence reevaluation, Trump recognized the importance of giving second chances, especially for nonviolent offenders. The First Step Act's provision to reduce mandatory minimums for nonviolent drug offenses marked a turning point in addressing systemic injustices that have long impacted Black communities. For decades, these harsh sentencing laws had devastated families and communities, often criminalizing addiction rather than addressing it as a social and health issue. By shortening these sentences, Trump directly challenged a system that penalized Black Americans at alarming rates, opening pathways to rehabilitation and reintegration rather than perpetual punishment. Under the First Step Act, offenders sentenced under racially motivated mandatory minimums can now petition for reevaluation. This reform gave many Black Americans hope, as it allowed for the possibility of fairer treatment in the eyes of the law. By enabling individuals to challenge unjust sentences, Trump addressed a root issue in the criminal justice system that has disproportionately harmed Black communities, allowing them the opportunity to rebuild their lives and families. Re-entry into society is a challenge that many formerly incarcerated individuals face, especially in Black communities. With his Ready to Work initiative, Trump aimed to ease the transition by creating employment opportunities for those re-entering the workforce. This initiative wasn't just about offering jobs, it was about providing a structured path to meaningful employment that helps reduce recidivism and promotes economic stability. For Black Americans disproportionately affected by incarceration, his initiative offered real hope for a better future, breaking the cycle of incarceration and unemployment. To build on the success of the First Step Act, Trump introduced the Second Step Act, which proposed partnerships with corporate America to create job opportunities for former prisoners. Recognizing that employment is a critical factor in successful reintegration, this proposal sought to secure meaningful work placements that could set former inmates on a positive trajectory. For Black Americans who face both systemic discrimination and the stigma of a criminal record, this initiative aimed to ensure fair access to jobs and a chance to rebuild their lives. Each of these points reflects Trump's commitment to empowering Black Americans through education, criminal justice reform, and economic opportunity. For those of us who watched his movements in New York City, his approach wasn't about optics. It was about genuine support and tangible actions that go against the prevailing narrative. By highlighting these policies, I hope to cut through the propaganda and show the real impact of Trump's initiatives on Black communities. As a New Yorker who watched Trump's involvement in the boxing world and his relationships with Black athletes like Mike Tyson, I've always known that the media's narrative about him was flawed. For those of us who saw Trump supporting Black figures openly and actively back in the day, it's clear that this man's support wasn't a matter of political expedience, it was genuine. To all my readers, followers, and subscribers who know me as a boxing fan from way back in the day, Trump's involvement in promoting Tyson's fights and his presence in the community wasn't something you could fake. He was there because he wanted to be, showing that his respect for Black achievements have been genuine all along. I hope these facts presented clear up something that I've known for a long time about the Democratic-controlled media never wanting the world to know. And now that the truth is out, many of the mainstream media sheeple have to realize that they were grossly manipulated and straight up played. Next time, do your research before you open your mouth to smear someone and make yourself look straight stupid. This is Lancescurv of Lancescurv.com. We just don't do this. This is something that I live. For the last quarter century, this is the work that I do, and if you want to see what we've previously done, go to Lancescurv.com. Subscribe for the email newsletter, and let's continue on in our quest for truth. To put out truth is what I live for. Enjoy the work that I have done all these years. Anyway, much love to you all. Have a wonderful day. On to the next one. Lancescurv out. Peace.
Lancescurv.com. Bold, raw, and uncut.